What's up, tribe? New show alert. So we have the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, y'all. Y'all know we've been waiting on this one, honey. Let's go on and jump into it. So we start this off. We meet Jen. Jen seems to be like the linchpin of this particular circle. Um, Jen is originally from Hawaii. She is part Hawaiian, part Tongan. It's from one of the Polynesian islands. Um, and she said that everybody in Salt Lake City just assumes she's black because she's exotic looking. Well, she didn't say this. I'm saying this. She's exotic looking, and they just don't know where to put her. So if you ain't white, you black, child. Now her husband is black. Now he's Muslim, and she converted or is converting to Islam. Because after she was Mormon, growing up Mormon, but she said after her husband schooled her on the fact that the Mormon church really wasn't, filling it for black people until the 1970s, so forth and so on. She was like, oh, nah, And then she was like, assalamu alaikum, bitches. I feel like that's a little offensive, but that ain't for me. That's for her. Her husband is a football coach at the University of Utah. She has 2 sons. It seems like her oldest son is trying to get into medical school or is in medical school, and then her younger son is 14. Now, Jen is extra over the top, and I'm not sure how much of what we're seeing from Jen is a part of her persona versus who she really is. Like, I ain't figured it out yet. As we go through the episode, y'all, let's see what I'm talking about. But, like, she was talking to her son, and he's 14, and she was like, have you kissed a girl before? And he was like, no. And she was like, okay, because if you kiss a girl, you could get herpes and probably even AIDS. And, like, her husband and her other son looked at her like, that's not how that works. That's not how any of this works. And she was like, well, do you know what sexting is? And then, of course, they were like, no, what's sexting? And she was like, well, if a girl sends you a dirty picture, you block her and then you tell me. And they were like, sure we will. Anyway, we're going to get back to Miss Jen. Heather, now Heather is Mormon royalty, okay? Her ancestors came to Utah with the original Mormon people. Her ex-husband's family is like Mormon royalty. They are like billionaires. Howard Hughes left them a lot of his fortune. Her father-in-law worked for Howard Hughes, and when he died, he left the money. It's a whole thing. But she got divorced from him. They have 2 girls, and she said, the Mormon church divorce, it's frowned upon in all religions, but in the Mormon church, it's like a whole process if you do get divorced, and it's a lot. But she has a plastic surgery business, which she says makes her is valued at over $20 million, right? But then Heather, I'm gonna have to keep my eye on Miss Heather. I'm trying not to be real petty, y'all, and I'm trying not to be real picky. However, Heather, I don't know how I felt about when you were like, I do all the things that people frown upon in the Mormon church. I drink, I smoke, I like black men. Oh, so we still not doing the black thing in the Mormon church? That would be frowned upon, the fact that you like black men and rap music? Okay. I'm just saying. You said it. I didn't say. You said it. Okay. Then we have Miss Meredith. Now, Meredith is Jewish from Chicago, honey. She is not Mormon. Her and her husband moved to Chicago moved to Utah 7 years ago for a business opportunity, but now they are part-time in Utah and part-time in Chicago. Seems like her husband's business has put him back in Chicago, but she said that she's there because her jewelry business, and she has some other store in Utah, and she has all these celebrity clients, and they have 3 kids, but we only see the one son who's taking a semester off from college, and he's living at home for the time being. Now, we need to keep an eye on Meredith and her husband, because, again, as the episode goes on, y'all gonna see what I'm talking about, but we're gonna keep an eye on Meredith and her husband, because I feel like all is not well, okay, in that situation, but we're gonna move on from there. Now we have Lisa. Lord, I can't read my own handwriting. Oh, She was born Jewish, but her family converted to Mormonism. Okay. Is that right? Mormonism? Am I saying that right? Okay. Ooh. Y'all got something. Okay. Okay, I guess I said that right. Okay. Um, they have a luxury marketing company and also a tequila brand, which you guys have probably heard of. I know I'd heard of the Vita tequila. Now, she rolled off a whole bunch of tequila names that I wasn't familiar with any of them other than the Vita company, but okay. Um, yeah, okay, that's Miss Lisa. Now, Miss Whitney has an interesting story, honey. We see Miss Whitney is renewing her wedding vows, and we see her with her husband, who I thought was her daddy. He is 18 years older than her. Now, here's the thing about Whitney. Now, Whitney is also Mormon royalty. Like, her great grandfather was like Joseph Smith's bodyguard and Brigham Young's bodyguard. But what had happened with Whitney was that Whitney and her now husband, they decided that they was gonna have a hot and heavy office affair. The problem was both of them were already married, baby, and so because of this affair, she ended up being both of them ended up being excommunicated from the church, and they are married. And she said she was 5 months pregnant at the wedding, child. Now, fast forward 10 years later, they are still happily married. However, comma, for somebody with her Mormon pedigree to no longer be affiliated with the church, and that's a big thing. And she said that it's just now that a lot of her family is starting to come back around. And starting to really accept their relationship, right? Um, Even at the party, one of her cousins came up. Now, they didn't want to be seen on camera, but we could hear him. Came up and said, I really didn't think we would be here 10 years later, but, congratulations. And, basically, you proved all of us wrong type of situation. Now, in full disclosure, y'all, my DVR cut off some of this stuff, but I think I got the gist of it, okay? Okay. Now, we meet Mary also. Now, Mary is the one that we have all heard about, honey. Mary is the one that married her granddaddy, that her grandmother left it in her will. Now, the way they made it seem like was that in the grandmother's will, it was like, I want you to marry one of my girls because they're going to take care of you. Why you don't just leave him some money in your will? Why they got to marry each other? Now, she is also a pastor. She Pentecostal. She ain't Mormon. She's Pentecostal, child. Okay, so, but Mary is a mess. Outside of that whole situation, Mary got a whole lot of other stuff going on with her. We're gonna get there. So that's who we're meeting. We're meeting everybody, and that's great. Now, the other side is that so what the whole thing with this episode is, Jen is throwing a party for Meredith's birthday. Jen is extra and over the top. Jen has not one but two assistants. And Jen is saying, listen, when I throw a party, everybody knows it's a Jen production. It is what I do. And when she was talking to Heather about the party she wanted to plan, Heather was like, are you sure that Meredith would want that? Because Meredith is sort of, prim and proper. Because she was talking about having strippers and everything else. And she was like, I don't think Meredith would kind of like that. And Jim was like, excuse me, and Jim was like, I don't care what she like, this is what we gonna do. Okay. So, we see Jen meet up with Lisa and with Meredith. I believe it was Lisa and Meredith, child. Y'all know listen, I got the names written down. But it's gonna just take a while for me to get to know all of them separately. Okay. Now, Lisa and Meredith, if I'm remembering them correctly, they sort of remind me of the Giselle and Robin situation. They seem like they play off of each other. And Jen was talking to them about Heather. And she was like, Meredith, I did not know that you and Heather went to school together. They had went to Brigham Young together. Baby, why Meredith curb was it Lisa? I think it was Y'all wrote it down. I swear I did. I think it was Lisa. It was either Lisa or Meredith shit. I think it was Meredith. Meredith curbed Heather and was like, oh, I didn't know her in school. Now y'all know that's an insult. When somebody say, oh yeah, I know her, and then the other person be like, when she Mariah carries you and be like, but I don't know her. I don't know her. That is y'all know that is rude and that is embarrassing. And so Jim was like, oh well damn, that's kind of messed up, like, cause Heather was like, y'all knew each other. She was like, like, I lived off campus and no, I really didn't know her. So of course, Jim went back to Heather, because I feel like Jen and Heather are really good friends. And she was like, girl, I felt some kind of way when Meredith tried to act like she didn't even know you and she tried to curb you like that. And then she tried to insinuate that Heather was like a good time girl. Like she was out there partying and violating the honor code. When you go to Brigham Young, you got to sign the honor code and all of that. And she said, I feel like she was sort of, curbing you and everything. And Heather was like, well, that's kind of messed up, because was she trying to insinuate that I was a hoe or something? She was like, girl, I was a virgin when I got married. Hell, maybe if I was a good time girl, I wouldn't be divorced now. She said, I wish I was that party girl, in college, but I wasn't, okay? And I was just like, that is sort of messed up, that she's trying to act like, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Miss Meredith, child, but like I said, I feel like Miss Meredith got some other stuff going on that she need to be worried about, child. Now, on the other side, we have Whitney meeting up with Miss Mary. Now, Mary was like, she gets a text while they're at dinner from Jen inviting her to the party. And Mary was like, girl, I know I ain't gonna get invited to that party, because, me and Jen ain't seeing it for each other right now. And Whitney was like, well, what happened? Like, girl, you never know. Check your text messages. And she checked the text messages, and she did have an invitation from Jen. And Jen was like, listen, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be inviting Mary to nothing. But Meredith gave me her guest list, and this is what it is. So I'm inviting her because this is Meredith's party, it ain't mine. Child. Here's why Mary and Jen look like they used to be friends. They showed footage of them hanging out in each other's closets and trying on each other's designer shoes and stuff. But here's the thing. Okay, so here's why Mary and Jen aren't cool. And let me tell you what I'm not doing, Salt Lake City. I'm not arguing about this shit for the next 6 weeks. Whatever. We're not doing this, okay? So it seems like Jen and Mary were meeting up for whatever reason. Lunch, dinner, I don't know. Cocktails, whatever. And when Jen got there, Mary made the statement, oh my gosh, it smells like a hospital in here. That smell makes me sick. I have really bad memories connected to hospitals because I had some really traumatic situations that happened at a hospital. Oh my God, I'm going to be sick. And Jen got really offended because Jen was like, I have been spending the whole week with my aunt who was in the hospital, who was like a mother to me, and she had to have both of her legs amputated. And I just think that was really messed up, that when I see you, you knew what I was going through, you knew what I was doing, that would be the first thing that you would say. And I was really offended by that. This is what we not gonna do. Y'all seem like y'all got way too much shit going on in y'all little friend circle for us to sit here and be mad because the girl said you smell like a hospital when you had been at the damn hospital. See, here's the problem. I could see if you had just spent $3,000 on some like designer cologne and she said you smell like you came out the hospital, then I'd be like, damn, but this is like that shit. But if you had spent the whole week in the hospital and somebody said, girl, it smelled like a hospital, how you gonna be mad? You was at the damn hospital. That's like if I was at the zoo all day, I took my nephew to the zoo, and then I decided to go meet up with some friends after I dropped him off to his mama, and one of my friends was like, oh my God, it smelled like the elephant house around here. I can't be offended. I was at the fucking elephant house. Anyway, I got caught up. Let's get back to it. So, it's Meredith's birthday, and her son actually decorated the whole house with flowers, and it was rose petals and candlelight and everything. Now, the daddy paid for it, but the son set it up. And Meredith was feeling some kind of way, because she was like, you know what, at the end of the day, if you give me the choice between him being here versus him sending flowers. I would much rather him be here because we've always tried to make an effort to be there for each other on our birthday. And I just kind of feel some kind of way that he ain't here this year. And the son feels some kind of way too because the son was like, so you really not going to show up? Like, you really not going to surprise her? And he was like, no. I said, damn. So I feel like the son feels some kind of way too. And he was like, well, I gotta go. You gonna make me go to the party by myself? Like, who's gonna go to the party with me? So he ends up going to this party for Jen. It's supposed to be for Meredith, but it's really Jen's party, child. Now, when you hosting a party, you don't have certain luxuries that you would have if it's not your party. For example, how you gonna be late and you the host? You don't get to make no grand entrance and you're the host. So Meredith and her son, they get to the party, and of course they get there, and immediately they see how extra over the top the whole damn party is, and they immediately realize, oh, this is a Jen production. This don't have nothing to do with me. This is about Jen and Jen's whole situation. And I guess the color theme was pink. I don't know, like 3 or 4 of them had on a pink ensemble. I don't know. But girl, Jen had to be a good hour late, child. Because everybody was like, where's Jen? Where's Jen? Where's Jen? Jen here yet? Jen ain't come downstairs. And then, of course, once she came downstairs, she made a grand entrance, right? Now, Heather was like, I ain't going to say nothing to Meredith because Meredith says she don't know me. So I'm going to let her stay over there. Even though this is her party, she don't know me. She don't know me. But then Lisa curved Heather. So that's why y'all, I know y'all going to tell me in the comments if I'm right or if I'm wrong. But one of them was the one that was being real shady towards Heather. And right now, I don't know if I like Lisa or Meredith. So I ain't really committed either one of them to remembering. I'll figure it out one day though. Because I guess it's going to be important. Then we have Jen and Mary have the conversation. Now listen, Mary, I was actually with you until you actually had this conversation. Because here's the thing. Girl, I just went through that whole thing. If she smelled like the damn hospital, she smelled like the hospital. But here's the problem. In your confessional, you was real fucking rude. And you supposed to be a woman of God. That was real rude and insensitive for you to be like, your aunt, her legs was cut off. I mean, she was 60 years old. I mean, that must mean she had a bad diet or something. I mean, go drink some water or something. Girl, here's the thing. I don't give a damn if her auntie weighed 800 pounds, okay? That was insensitive for you to say. That was very insensitive for you to say. All you had to be like was, listen, girl, I did not mean to offend you, and I'm sorry that I did, okay? But, I have some very traumatic experiences connected to hospital. Because she said something about she almost died on the hospital bed. On hospital operating table twice. And it's just very traumatic. That I can understand, girl. I can really, really, truly understand that. And that's all you had to say to that woman. But for you to go off on your confessional and be like, so what? She probably had a bad diet. She needed to drink some water. Girl. Anyway, y'all, that was the first episode. I feel like Salt Lake City is going to give us something. Like, they have a whole lot. And I'm really, 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 really surprised to see how many of these women are connected to the Mormon church. Like, I'm really, really, really surprised. So we're going to see how this play out. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the first episode. I felt like it was pretty good. I'm looking forward to see what else they give us, child. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Peace.